and you... Hello, and you are watching, and welcome to Stretford Paddock. We're here for the review of Manchester United against Derby. We're still a bit far away, we are, but you know what?
Gone.
There's a bit of a fist bump handshake argument to be said these days, and I think we're just making sure everything's all right. Man United have beaten Derby 3-0 in what was one of the more sort of tame and uneventful 3-0.
Laissez-faire is
Exactly.
is probably the term I would... Look, we sat here, myself and the two Joes, watched the watch-along. If you haven't, a lot of debates going on that game.
Yes.
But probably because the game wasn't really... It didn't gauge us that much.
It was a strange one, wasn't it?
It really wasn't good from either side. There was a lot of goal-fin quality. Shaw's opening goal, which people are trying to dispute whether it's Lingard's goal. I don't know why that is.
Why did it maybe flip Lingard? We haven't seen that.
Looks to me like Luke
Here,
Shaw just hit it into the
Paddock
ground.
HQ.
There's only one kind of big talking point, and that's Odion Ighalo. 2 goals on a second start.
Is Odion Ighalo going to be here next season?
No, he won't. But I tell you what,
he won't?
I don't think he will. I think he's been brought in for a purpose. I think he's been brought in to play cup competitions with the injuries to the squad. And you know what? I couldn't be happier for him. I could not be happier for him getting his chance. And I love the fact that he's becoming this cult hero.
3 goals in a week for him.
3 goals in 2 starts.
Yeah.
So
3 goals in 2 starts, 3 goals in a week. Look at it whichever way you like. He's doing all right. And this, again, before we get to the super chat here, this is the sort of thing that you bring him in for. Obviously, it would have been nice for him to score against... the likes of Chelsea, and he had a decent chance in that game. But really, this is we were allowed to rest Martial tonight because we had another striker on the bench. He scored 2 goals. He won us the game, and he got us through to the quarter-final of the FA Cup. I know it's Derby County, but it's no mean feat. We lost to Derby County last season
at home, although a completely different Derby team, I will say, because Derby have not been been a poor team this season.
Call it, of course, call it what you like. We struggled against Rochdale
in the League Cup.
League Cup. We just snuck by them, squeezed by them, and like we said, we lost to Derby County last season. So these games can't be taken for granted. But Ighalo's he's doing what he was brought in to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's like you said. That's why he was here for it. The super chat from Liam Richards says Ighalo better than Lukaku, better for such and hold play. What's your thoughts? We'll get to that in a sec. First of all, but Odion Ighalo's been brought in here to play Europa League with the. We're only in the round of 16 coming up now, and we've got the FA Cup as well. That's what he's been there to do. And you know what? 3 goals in 2 starts. He's not going to be here next season. We'd love to, but I think 6 months, let him have his spell. And you know what? He'd probably be happy with that as well. He's delivered exactly what I thought he would do, and that's scoring in the cup competitions.
Yeah, and he hasn't been brought here to look like Lukaku. The comparisons to Lukaku, I think, in fairness, are unfair to Lukaku. Lukaku's one of the best strikers in the world and has been for nearly 10 years now.
Yeah, but one of the best goal scorers in history, maybe.
Certainly, yeah. Certainly for his age. He's an incredible goal scorer, Lukaku. And Ighalo isn't that. But, see, tonight, Martial probably would have played if he wasn't in. Obviously, we've got Greenwood on the bench as well, but he hasn't started many games as that number 9. And Martial's got a bit of a knock, a bit of an injury. We're not quite sure what's going on there.
Well, the derby on Sunday, though, as well.
Exactly. So, but... 6 months ago or 2 months ago, Martial would have had to start this game tonight. Yeah. With half an injury, maybe aggravate that, maybe make that worse. We've got a player who can play in these sorts of games, who can get goals against. We've yet to see it against the big teams, but certainly against some of the smaller teams like in Bruges and in Derby. And it decreases the chance of Martial getting injured. It decreases the chance of some other players getting injured because it just settles the side. It gets us a couple of goals and you can sit back then. But otherwise, you're playing options that probably won't get the same goals as Ighalo, probably don't have the same finishing as Ighalo, or you're risking players who are maybe half injured and overplaying them. Yeah. It's just a great person to have around.
At the end of the day, Ollie's working with a very thin squad as it is, and without people kind of maybe realising it was the semi-final of the League Cup. Yep. Obviously went out to City over 2 legs. We're now in the last. We're presuming. I'd not sound too disrespectful to Norwich, but we would. We've got a decent chance. We've got a very decent chance of going through to the last 4 of the FA Cup. We've got Lask in the last 16 of the Europa League. You'd expect to go through on that. Yeah. To the quarterfinals Europa League. That's a lot of games to play, and you're fighting for top 4. Yeah. That is a lot of football that you have to play. Yeah. You have the last.
Yeah, we've got the FA Cup draw here. We've got Sheffield United against Arsenal. So either way, to one of the top 10 teams in the league are going out in that tie. Newcastle against City. Again, you would assume City's going to go through, but you could see an upset. And Leicester City versus Chelsea. So 2 of the top 4 are going to go. One of the top 4 are probably going to go
All
there.
Premier League teams left in the competition as well.
Yeah. So we've got Norwich City, who are struggling this season, and let's not look past them, but let's just look towards the quarter-final. We are doing quite well in cup competitions, and we do seem a more difficult proposition to break down. We were only 1 late goal away from forcing extra time against Man City in the cup. Obviously, we've come through tonight unscathed. Again, Lask is going to be an interesting one because we just couldn't know less about them. But they're certainly, they're not a European giant by any means. 9 games undefeated now, 7 clean sheets in that time. Are we starting to see the makings of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's sort of vision of this team?
I think it could be a bit early to say. I mean, Jose went on similar run as this when he brought us to second in the league. My hope is only that, we're only at the January window now, that he gets backing in the summer window. The dirt sheets are already running with, the Sancho stuff, the Grealish stuff, the Koulibaly as well, who's been thrown around, which I don't think we'll end up getting. But he just needs to be backed because whether you want to admit it or not, Bruno Fernandes, probably didn't have his best game tonight, but give him a break. 5 man of the matches in 7 games?
And he was all right tonight.
He was all right tonight. He wasn't bad, but every one of Ollie's signings have improved the squad, whether that's a reflection on how bad the squad is or whether that's a reflection on how good his scouting system is, recruitment is. That's left to be seen, but I think he's shown enough now where you feel that, back him. And you know what? He's getting the best out of players. I know Rashford hasn't played in the last few weeks. He's getting the best out of Rashford. He's getting the best out of Martial he's ever got. He's probably, debatably, you could go as far to say, barring that first season under Jose, he's getting the best out of Nemanja Matic as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Nemanja Matic, I think, was something like, I saw a stat today, clean sheets without Nemanja Matic this season, we've had 5. With Nemanja Matic, we've had 13.
Yeah.
Ludicrous. Like that. Absolutely ludicrous. Yeah. So he's getting the best out of...
He's getting the best out of a few other, like Luke Shaw coming back into some form.
Exactly. Scoring tonight as well.
Yeah, I think... and Fred, of course, who has been the most improved player over the last 18 months, maybe in the Premier League, maybe in European football, altogether.
Some would even go as far to say maybe he... No, he doesn't. He doesn't look like a £55 million player, but he still looks... He's done brilliantly.
How effective he is, the amount of times he gives the ball away, the amount of mistakes he makes is just completely dropped off almost entirely.
He was making those mistakes because he was always trying to go forward in a system that was so defensive. But look, tonight was a formulaic win, a routine win. Derby were really, really poor. They're on.
Yeah, first 2 or 3 minutes, they looked like they had a bit of energy.
They had a shot really close that shaved the post, and then bar that, I would think it was a few Rooney set pieces that was their only.
Yeah, Rooney almost scored in the 90th minute, didn't he? That
you
free
would
kick.
maybe like to see that.
Yeah, but Romero's got this ridiculous clean sheet record at United where I don't think he wanted to give Rooney anything they didn't have to. Got right to the top corner to save that. Yeah. Right, let's move into the comments then.
As you can see, one from Jacob OC here, still not massively impressed by Fred.
I don't think today was a game to be impressed by anyone, really. It was a 3-0 clean sheet. I think that's all you can really ask for. How good can you look against Derby unless you win 6-7-0?
If you would have said to any United fan, would you take a crap performance in a 3-0 win tonight? Yeah, exactly. You'd be fine. You'd be fine. No worries about that at all.
Luke Shaw, since Williams came in, has stepped up his game. He's definitely looked better.
That apparently is the rumour. I read online somewhere. That is the rumours going around Carrington, is that Luke Shaw was almost given an ultimatum: either step up your game or you're out. And they've been really happy with the way he's responded, and you can't argue with that.
Because there were a few, like I said, rumours and suggestions that he's sometimes can be lazy in training and isn't always following the sort of diet and kind of professional athlete lifestyle that you'd expect. So, anything that gives a player a kick up the arse, if they respond well to that, it's a good thing, isn't
it? Club.
Yeah, exactly. I prefer Bailly with Maguire than Lindelof.
Yeah, but again, with Eric Bailly, you're taking that chance that he's going to be fit, and Eric Bailly's never been fit in the, it'll be three seasons he's had here. We'd probably see, I think he's missed more games than he's played.
Probably.
Through injury. So that should tell you all you need to know. And Victor Lindelof, people are already knocking him because he's not been the best this season. He was probably our best player last season. I know Luke Shaw got player of the year. I thought Victor Lindelof was easily our best player.
I thought Pogba was our best player, but I thought Lindelof was a close second.
It's obviously Pogba was dominant in all the stats. Yeah. But Lindelof for me was maybe the most improved, you could say, similar to Fred this season. Would be a case to be made.
Can Rashford get 25 goals next season? Certainly. Yeah, he's on 19 this season?
19 in all competitions, 14 in the league. Yeah. And he only played up until December.
Yeah, he's probably missed 6 or 7 games already, or maybe even closer to 10.
And he went on that barren spell as well
after
the Chelsea game.
I think he probably would be on 22, 23 already if he hadn't been injured.
Possibly,
I think he could maybe get 25 this season, depending on how many games
It's interesting.
Plays.
We're in a situation
Probably
now where everyone, there's talk online constantly of whether Ollie's going to go or not. We find ourselves in and around the parameter for top 4. We are still in the Europa League, and we're still in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Now, if you had have said that to a United fan at the start, before the summer, or maybe after the summer, would you take in the hunt for top 4?
Yeah, 3 points off. What is it? 3 points off.
3 points off top 4.
Yeah.
And you have a handy draw in the Europa League, handy draw in the FA Cup in quarter final. Would you have taken it? You would have said, yeah. That would have been probably.
You got to the semi-final of the Carling Cup.
Went out to City after
Cup.
a disastrous first leg, managed to beat City at the Etihad.
Yeah, I think slowly, regardless of manager, whether it's Ole, whoever it is, when you've got a manager at a club that is clearly improving certain things, clearly, I think people say, what is Ole's style of play? I think we score more exciting goals now than we did since Fergie left.
Yeah.
The football under Moyes was so slow and boring. The football under Mourinho
was even worse.
Got gradually more defensive, but without any sort of exciting counter-attacks. It never really came. You thought, we'll sit back, we'll park the bus, and then look at this explosive counter-attack, and it never really happened. We get more counter-attacking goals. We get more sort of good, intricate play goals now under Ole than we have since Ferguson left. And the recruitment's been excellent. Like I said, we're in the hunt for top 4. We're still in 2 major trophies, and we got to the semi-final of the other. At what point do you just say, we're actually doing all right?
Famous last words.
United,
they are famous last words.
Challenging for the title, but this hasn't been a bad season, has it? So far,
yeah.
I'm not looking into the future. We might lose to Norwich. We might lose to Lask. We might finish 7th in the league. But as things stand right now, this has been an all right season, hasn't it?
I think people, because I was always, if you had asked me maybe 2 seasons ago, I would have been a disastrous season. But I think this season has definitely cemented realistic expectations into United's fans.
Yeah.
Because, before like any Jose season, we'd be like, either we compete for a title or we're crap. This season, we knew going in, we were never going to compete for a title. Never. We're fucking 37 points, whatever it is, off Liverpool now at this stage. I think now that these expectations have been managed for once, yet some people still aren't happy. And, they've proven, obviously, there's still room for improvement as well. But when you look at the end of the day, like I said, we're in the hunt for top 4. That's kind of, top 4 was probably the aim.
The goal.
At the start of the season, let's be honest with ourselves. We're still in 2 competitions, got to a semi-final of another. And you look at our Europa League record as well. What we conceded 2 goals in the entire competition, only losing 1 game to Astana where the kids played, and we're still in the FA Cup with a handy draw.
Qualified.
Yeah, after you already qualified.
And also, if you look at the squad that ended last season, the likes of Young, Lukaku.
He's moved the Deadwood out.
Exactly.
He's moved the Deadwood on. Everyone was crying out that, why is Smalling still there? 666, Omen, watching. Make sure that you like the video. Come on, only 59 you liked it. But
but the team that's playing now for Man United is a much more likeable, interested, and sort of hard-working side.
There's a direction
than played last season, isn't there?
There's somewhere you can see almost an end goal. You can see there's some, like under Jose towards the end, there was no.
Yeah, how do we get out
pot
of
of gold at the end of the rainbow?
It was like, you felt like you were in the bunker waiting for the Russians to arrive, just waiting to pop the pill, didn't you?
Yeah.
And it was like, we're still in this, but I have no
way
that this can end.
Yeah,
that feeling hasn't arrived yet with Ole, and I think, if anything, we're seeing the opposite.
People
of that
whether they're excited or not. We got stats on the screen from the game as well. That should tell you all you need to. 26, but like people are, even if they're not maybe positive about it, people are interested to see where Ole goes from here and where we go, because it is a bit of a mystery at this stage. But we got the stats on screen there. Kind of tells the story of the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, 26 shots, twice as many as Derby. Obviously, you can all see for yourselves. 8 shots on target. I think 88% pass accuracy is quite a nice high number. I like to see that, especially when you try and dominate possession against a smaller side. Yeah. There was a stats earlier on in the season that every time United have had 60% plus possession, we haven't won.
Yeah,
do you remember those
only won 1 game,
leading up to around Christmas we saw that, and I think the last few games we've seen a bit more possession, holding the ball better, scoring more goals, conceding less goals. This run of clean sheets we've been on, I mean, put whatever you want aside, who have been playing whatever. We're still a professional club that play professional teams every week. has been exceptional.
And you take into consideration the games where we conceded goals. You take De Gea's brain fart out of the Everton game. We're probably keeping a clean sheet.
Yeah.
And what's the other game we conceded in? It was someone can let me know in the comments. I can't off the top of my head. What was the game we conceded in?
The Bruges game at home.
The Bruges game. We were awful in that game, to be fair. But bar that, you're talking one goal conceded in your last 9. There's January and February is the months where you want to hit form as well, because everyone's starting to dip off.
And the season well. Give us some comments then. Let us know what you thought of tonight's game. Let us know what you think to this team. Are we finally sort of turning a corner? 9 games undefeated now. Yeah. And the thing is, the unfortunate problem with that is that 9 games undefeated, pretty much any team, unless you're challenging for a title, I hate to say this because it doesn't really... If we lost one of these games against Spurs or City... That wouldn't really be unexpected, would it? Because they're good teams. We've got to play difficult teams. We've already gone undefeated. But if we do lose one, we're going to be right back to where we were with this team shit, Ole out, all that stuff. But let's try and be positive for a little bit. DWM says some of us never stop believing. Very good.
Don't stop. We're talking about Journey on the watch along as well.
The voice.
According to John Bon Jovi.
Yeah, don't let me down. Solskjaer's had the best impact on signings since forever. I think his record of transfers of successes so far. Dan James, for a £15 million man.
3 goals, 6 assists. He slowed down massively.
But definitely a success so far, just for what we paid for him. Maguire, I think, against Everton...
He's not worth 80 million, though. Everyone knows that.
But I think, has he made us better?
Yes,
is he an
100%.
excellent defender? Yes. Look at that. Maguire's performance against Everton is the best... centre-back performance I've seen from a United player since Vidic and Ferdinand were at United. I think he was incredible against Everton.
He had a few brain farts. I remember when he miskicked the ball, maybe in the first half. That's the only thing I can remember.
But Everton have 13 corners, and we know how bad we've been from set pieces this season. I think equal worst in the league still, conceding 8 goals from set pieces. We never really looked like conceding from a corner. Like you said, if it wasn't for De Gea and his mistake, we probably would have got another clean sheet in that game.
And as well, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who you could even say is the most in-form right back in the league, given someone's recent results. Yeah. Beaten, what was it? Beaten 90 or what?
I think that may have been a false stat.
Was it something like...
Apparently.
Yeah. Anyway, lost the ball 93 times. I think it was in 3 games.
Yeah.
From a certain individual.
And also...
we don't know who that is.
Bruno Fernandes is the other one who has been clearly excellent.
I was a doubter. Someone pulled me up on it on the last watch along where I said I had my reservations from anyone out of the Portuguese league. And so far, I'm happy enough to eat my words. I think I was chatting to you before the game where I said, is this a reflection on Bruno Fernandes being really good? Or is this a reflection on how crap our midfield is and someone who's got a bit of creativity, is a bit of fresh air. Yeah. The jury, I think, is still out, but...
I think the thing that you'll see with Bruno is, I think, the way he scores goals, the way he's already scored 2 penalties. Yeah. Just the sort of the excellence with which he sort of conducts himself, just in all facets of football. He's clearly come in and been a sort of standout personality in the training pitch. We've heard Solskjaer, we've heard other players talk about that. On the pitch, he's a leader. Certain people just have an aura about him that, regardless of stats, is just a good thing to have around. Yeah. And so far, obviously it's very early, things can change, he might start falling out with everyone, but so far...
his attitude has definitely been a big plus.
Yeah, regardless of how he is off the pitch, on the pitch, off the pitch, he seems to be a real success, and that is something that people are like, trying hard, that doesn't make a good team. Look at Lukaku last season. We knew in March that he was leaving. Solskjaer said in March he knew he was leaving. The stuff about leaking the team sprint... stats and all that kind of stuff. There was a squad full of players that weren't particularly likeable, really, from a fan's perspective. Not that I have anything against Lukaku, but there was a drift towards... we felt a bit of a laughingstock. The whole Sanchez situation as well, where it was just, we are literally playing someone who isn't very good, £500,000 a week to be bad. Yeah. I feel like there's just a tonal shift at United.
You've still got people who are still hating on the likes of Jesse and Pereira and stuff like that. And I think that's just still maybe the remnants of the attitude under the toxicity under Jose and because everyone turned on the players and stuff like that. I'm still going to back players like Jesse and Pereira just because I'm a United fan. I'm not going to say get their shit, worst players. No, come on.
And also, you can't get rid of 12 players in it takes 1, 2, 3 years to we've already seen an almost unprecedented culling of deadwood in this squad. The likes of Lukaku, the likes of Young, Smalling, who I know is on loan but is still out. Same goes for Sanchez,
who are both gone. I think
Fellaini, all these people that he's gotten rid of, that United fans have been talking about getting rid of for multiple years. It is almost unprecedented.
You can almost see as well. You can almost predict the names that are going to go in the summer. I think. Unfortunately, I think Jesse is going to go.
Yeah, Jesse and Pereira.
I think both of them will go. To be honest, really? I think we're going to bring in another attack midfielder. I think Phil Jones. Yeah. He's the biggest meme on football Twitter, but I actually kind of do feel. You saw that interview with the Athletic. He said if he had a testimonial, the only people who would show up were his mum and his dad, which kind of sounds so bad.
Do you know what, if Phil Jones has a testimonial for United,
I'll show up. Go on, Phil. I'll go.
Someone says Ole has brought in and brought through players with great character. Yeah, I think that's kind of what we're saying. There's a different feel to the club at the moment. Jesse's playing himself into form too.
I don't know.
What about his cameo against Bruges tonight? I didn't think he was too bad either.
I mean, there's moments of decency in cup competitions, but if realistically he wants to be that Jesse Lingard of 2 or 3 years ago, who was scoring massively clutch goals, who was a big game player, because that's what he became known as.
He was crazy, wasn't it?
He was
Wembley
was his dancing ground, the Emirates. Like, he was a big game player, and unfortunately we're at the stage now where he can barely play himself into the team.
Right, that's going to be all from
us,
isn't it?
Yes, it is. Good game.
We've got loads of stuff to look forward to, actually. Tomorrow we've got a transfer review with Stephen Howson.
We've got a late
night live, which I will be conducting at 10 p.m. Be sure to tune in for that. And then over the weekend, we've got a very special Behind Enemy Lines with Excess Manchester breakfast host Adam Brown. And we've also got the 3-point preview. And we'll be back on Sunday for the
I'll
next
be there
match
for the watch along as well.
So much coming up.
Content.
Just watch everything.
Content here,
subscribe
content
to Manchester United.
Subscribe to them as well, why not?
Subscribe to Stretford Paddock if you don't already. There's also a little notification bell where you get a notification every time we upload a video.
Joe.
It's great. And also like the video.
Come on.
And also we've got this wonderful kit for Stretford Paddock FC, which is a team which we play for. And this kit is available.
In the description, is it,
Cameron?
Cameron?
In the description.
Yes,
this kit is available to buy online, as well as our training kit, which is one of the nicest kits I've ever seen in the training kit. This is incredible, but there's another
the
kit
training
that's also
kit will
excellent.
be the unofficial adopted away kit, I think, at one stage.
But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for joining me, Ciaran.
Always a pleasure, Joe.
See you next time.